and welcome to Ladyada.
Hey everybody, and welcome to my desk. Happy Sunday before Christmas and Hanukkah. All right, so this week we are doing a lot of LED stuff on my desk because we got that WLED board back from the PCB house, and we're testing it. So let's go to the overhead and let's show off what we got.
Alrighty.
Okay, so back up just a tiny bit. So this is the final board as it arrives. We've got the USB or DC power input. We've got selectable 5, 12, or 20 volt power. We've got 3.3 volt buck converter here. We've got the infrared input, 5 amp fuse, diodes to select USB or DC, reset, and user input button, I2S microphone. Optional analog or digital I/O, I2C, some more GPIO, and the terminal blocks with level shifters for the output. This is the USB serial converter. So single-sided board design makes it nice and easy to manufacture, which is good. And of course, like my router is like not liking my WLED boards right now. Like they were working great until like about 10 minutes ago. But I'll still show off some of the stuff that I've been doing. So I tested out the I2S microphone and the IR LED last night. Both work. The I2S mic is really good. Definitely better than an analog mic. So, we're going to stick with that. I think we've tested everything but the GPIO. We have to like set up macros or something to test it out. We're testing all the outputs on like a very big LED display. But just for now to do some demo, I found this board from Silicon Squared. I think this was a sample they sent me like 10 years ago. It's a 16 by 16 matrix of like NeoPixel compatible LEDs. So it's actually great for doing basic tests of like gridding and animations and testing all the outputs. So I can try real fast one more time, but I think let's go to the computer. So I'm installing WLED on these, and I actually never really used WLED before. But what you have to do is connect to the access point. So I just installed it, and let's see if this works. It's like, again, I think my router or my internet, something with my Wi-Fi is being funky.
So what makes the AP? Is it the board itself?
Yeah, once you program it, it shows up as an access point, but like I said, there's something weird going on with the Wi-Fi in this house. Okay, so now you go to Wi-Fi settings, and this is where things kind of went amiss. Like I would scan, and it
wouldn't find the wireless network that we have.
Crash, and so I'm thinking it's like a power issue. But I don't know, because you'd think like it would show up with like, okay, I scanned, but it never. And this was working before, so again, I don't know.
Yeah, nothing's changed on our network.
It could be the power supply. It could be some interference in the air, because like. Other than that, the access point, like I'm able to get to the access point, so the Wi-Fi is obviously working. So then there's something happening in between. So yeah, it could be power supply stuff. That's okay. So then like what happens is that like it crashes and then it get kicked back to the main access point. So something is funky.
Well, we'll figure it out so people in the future don't need to.
I know this is just like part of WLED. So anyways, but it does work. Maybe we'll kick the access point here. Could also be funky. And also, just because I had this up, we had 800 certifications for hardware.
We'll be getting the word out. We have some level up. It's kind of our 8-bit,
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Including, we posted the files for the WLED board. So if you want that, I'll show it. So we wanted to get this done before the end of the year. So even though we have some like unreleased, like not in the store products, we published them anyways. So the Sparkle Motion board, which is, we have a sign up page if people want to sign up to get notified, like once I fix the access point stuff. And then also it's on GitHub, so if you want to check out the files, it's here. Again, not available for purchase yet, but it's okay. We can still download stuff and then if you use the cookie cutter, it's cool. Okay, all right, so once you install WLED, you can use the WLED interface to control stuff. Like I said, it's not working for some reason. But what was interesting is like after I installed WLED, I was like, well, what I really want to do is I want to have this gigantic grid and I want to display animations on it because like that's like fun, right? Like when we played the animated GIFs on like a 32 by 32 or 60 by 60 LED matrix for the holidays. And it kind of turns out that like WLED, it does great, which is like sound reactive, like LED swirl, like color effects. But if you want to actually do like animations or like 2D stuff that's more complicated than just like the swirls and plasmas, you want to like kick it up to using something called xLights. And so I installed xLights, and xLights is software. I was telling Phil, this is like that meme of like, we couldn't build this software now. We don't even know how. Like, this shit was like clearly done in like the 90s, and it's like held on. And
Get your copy of Code Warrior out.
We did, yeah. We don't make software like this anymore, and I say that as a compliment. I really love this. This is like the shit. This is like a really great program. It has a learning curve that makes you hate yourself for 30 minutes.
Also, you can control nuclear power plants with this.
Yeah, you want it. The first 30 minutes you want to die, but then after the 30 minutes, you're like, this is amazing. So we'll do it like a more detailed tutorial, but you can set up a WLED as the control. So this only does the sequencing. You need something to drive the LEDs. It runs on a computer, so it doesn't even use USB as an interface, which like I guess you could eventually do somehow, but like there's some USB controllers. But you can set up WLED and you tell it the IP address, and you can tell it which protocol. And there's a couple different ones. There's like, at first I thought there was like a JSON interface, but it turns out it also supports DDP, which is like this high throughput access. So you can do up to 1,000 pixels per channel. You can do multiple channels. And then what you can do is when you click visualize, you can tell it how many pixels. So in this case, I was doing like a 20 by 60 times 3 strands to make like one gigantic LED like it'll patch the matrices together for you, which is quite cool. And then so you set up the controller, and then this thing that was hold on, let me open up the grid. Okay, you set up the layout, and then what happens is okay. You set up the layout, and then you can load, like in this case, I'm loading an animation onto it. And then, oh, see, now I don't even remember how you do it. There was a grid here. I don't remember. But it basically will display it. It'll virtualize, show you what it's displaying, and then send it to the device. And you can also do like fire effects. So like I can drag this on here, and you can actually see like the pixelations on this. Oh, you know what? This is the wrong one. Okay, hold on. I know why this is. 1 second. Oh, I'm not going to get this working. Okay. For next time, I'll figure it out. I have the wrong sequence opens because I had one for like a gigantic grid, one for a tiny grid. But you can see it'll actually show you like each pixelation for the designs you want to draw. And then you can like have like more complicated animations, and you can like set like what colors you want it to use. And you can have like, you can, customize these colors. You can do custom color picking. There's like effects and like tweaks for every one of these. And then I think people also create their own user mods for the holidays. I'm just like, I've spent like 1 hour with this, and I'm already like totally,
that's cool.
Totally amazed with it. So yeah, I'll do more. And again, if my WLED was running, I'd have it running. I think by next week I'll have a WLED demo running with this. We also have like a 1-minute video that we shot that Phil will post. So anyways, I definitely like, WLED is like, oh, I just want like colors. But if you wanted to like do something and then you can sequence it. So the real power of this is that you can have audio tracks going, and then you have a full timeline. You can do sequences and layers and like have it show up. So like the animations go with the music. And so whenever you see these like nutty outdoor LED displays that people have with like talking characters and like they're singing songs and there's animatronics, they're using xLights. Like now that I know what xLights look like, whenever I see like these TikToks, I'm like, oh, that's like xLights. I know that mega tree. I know what that looks like. And it's like a whole thing. But it's very, very cool. There is like so many functions and like capabilities built into it. And you can have it, of course, be music reactive. It doesn't use the sensor on the board for the music reactivity. You can have audio coming in from the computer. Like I said, it's like you have the computer and then there's the controller and the LED stuff. But it's meant like the big power is like audio control for people who want to do like audio synchronization. Actually, kind of wondering now with the Macy's, not Macy's. What was it? What's the store that downtown that does the
Neiman Marcus?
That does the no, not Neiman Marcus. Maybe it is Macy's.
Macy's?
Filings. I don't remember. The store in downtown that does like the gigantic LED display. Now I'm like, oh, you know what? They probably use xLights too. And you don't have to use just NeoPixels. You can actually use anything. You just tell it where to send the data, and then the controller like does the conversion. So hearts. So very cool, very customizable, and totally open source. Runs on every platform, which is like I respect that. Okay, so that's how are we doing on time?
We're doing good. It is 12 minutes.
Okay, so let's go.
Now I'm thinking about which stores. There's Macy's.
But it's the one that isn't doing it this year.
There's Macy's, Ralph Lauren, Bloomingdale's, Bergdorf Goodman,
No,
Tiffany,
just Google for like New York.
Saks Fifth Avenue.
I think it's Saks.
It's Saks.
Yeah.
It's Saks.
But they're not doing it this year. Okay, cool. Anyways, xLights. We'll do some tutorials about xLights because again, it's like the first 30 minutes I'm just like, what happened? And then it kind of came together. Yeah. And what I really like is this model preview where you can like play around and like I have it with a grid, but you can do like any shapes and it will preview. Like next week I'll do a more detailed like layout tutorial. You can lay out all the shapes the way you want, and then it'll map the LEDs and it doesn't auto map them. Like you don't take a photo and map them, but you can like draw them onto the screen, and then it will do the mapping for you. So you can do 2D or 3D sequences that pass through different shapes. Cool stuff. Okay, so let me close xLights because you can spend like hours in here. Like I said, we'll get WLED working. So the next thing is that I was playing around with WLED and I was like, as I was doing this and I was like planning out stuff with xLights, I was like, well, this board is really good and I actually need the 12 volt version, but I wanted also a smaller version. So I have some 5 volt lights and I wanted something that was like much tinier that could fit into, you could like heat shrink it on. So this is like the main one. And this one works great. And I like starting with like the biggest, most complicated, and then it gets smaller. I take things out. So then I designed a mini version of this board because this hardware worked. So this version, it has almost all the same hardware, but it's double-sided and it's shrunken down. So instead of 3 outputs, it has 2 with shared ground and 5 volt. There's no 12 volt power supply or no USB PD. It's just USB Type-C in. There's a 5 volt, 5 amp fuse, ESP32 on the back here, I2S mic, the level shifter stuff, I2C output, and the kind of generic analog input, reset and number 0 buttons, and USB serial converter. So this I thought this is much smaller. So this board is like whatever, this board is Imperial 1.3 by 2 inches, and this board is 0.75 by 1.2. So this is less than 1 square inch. So it's like this is 2.5 times larger, the standard one. So I thought this would be good. It still has mounting holes. And then I got this sample. Going up to the overhead. I got this sample of a USB stick, like Christmas tree kit. It's like I got the sample like 2 days ago, and I'm like, well, it's like over to buy something like this. But I thought this was kind of interesting. This actually has a little Bluetooth chip, which is like, I'm sure they didn't FCC certify this. Like a little electret microphone and an IR LED inside of here. And it's got this little button on the back so you can like put it into pair mode. And you plug this into USB and then you just get these like little LED sticks. Maybe I'll just plug this in for funsies just to show what it. And you know, by default it does like this stuff, and then you get this like little remote. You can change the modes. So what I like about this was the little stick. I thought that was really cute, and I was like, well, I could just get the enclosure or something similar to the enclosure. And I liked that there was a button, and then I could have it have WLED, and then if you wanted Bluetooth, sure, but you could also have this like much more advanced system, and it wouldn't drive like a ton of LEDs. You could drive like 250 or something. But for many small projects, I like the compactness. You just plug it into your wall adapter. So I also designed a stick version. If you go to the computer.
Okie dokie.
Just to kind of practice. I mean, the final stick will be slightly different layout, but just to see like, you know, the only thing that I didn't like that I had to do here, I hate putting stuff near the antenna. So the antenna is here, and then the contacts are over here. I mean, I tried to give myself some clearance, but there really was a limited amount of space. There's still an I2S mic, the ESP32 module. Sorry, basic top. The infrared receiver, 2 level shifted outputs, a little NeoPixel there, LED, 5-volt, USB stick plug-in. But it doesn't have like I2S. There's no extra analog input or GPIO. Like this is all you get. But I think for like the vast majority of like, again, keep it small, inexpensive, simple, so you can like plug it in and you can get started instantly. And you still get, 5-volt, 2 amps, good enough, like 200 pixels or so. All right, so I'm going to send out these prototypes and keep playing with this stuff. And then probably next year we'll do more tutorials. And then, by next Christmas we'll have like everything.
We'll be ready.
Want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I'm like, oh, we missed this year. Who cares? There's always next year.
We have a year to build. Also, we're going to be back at full swing with AdaBox, and there's a lot of things that we wanted to do. And this year was us moving and more. So I feel like this is a foundational time.
Yeah, but anyways, if you want to check out the Sparkle Motion PCB, it's on.
Also, if we would have worked on this earlier, we wouldn't have had access to like all the latest and greatest. So I feel like now's a good time.
Well, I think it's like now's a good testing period.
Yeah. All right. You want to hit Great Search?
Yeah, let's do the Great Search.
Let's do the Great Search.
Where in the world is that part I need? The Great Search with DigiKey.
The Great Search, brought to you by DigiKey and Adafruit. Thanks, DigiKey. Every single week, Ladyada uses her power of engineering to help you. Yes, you find the things that you're looking for on digikey.com. Ladyada, what are you looking for this week?
Okay, so this week, I'm doing more organization here in my new office. Last week I talked about how I have this beautiful scope rack, which has been great. I've been using it so much with the power supply, like especially with all this LED stuff I'm testing. And one thing I want to do is get like wall mountable storage for my little components. So maybe Mr. Levy, you can pass me one of those drawers behind you.
Which one?
See the little like pull-out drawers on the desk?
One of these?
Yeah.
This whole thing?
Yeah, just we can show people.
Okay.
It's not that heavy. It's just.
I'm not worried about the heavy. There's just a lot of parts on it.
There's a lot of parts in it. So I really like shelving like this. I should have grabbed this ahead of time.
That's right.
Okay, so this is. Let's tell you what's what. This is these little pull-out drawers. and I label them, and then they're good for like resistors and
Zoom into
components
it,
and
yeah.
capacitors. Yes, this is tach switches, battery. You can see like little jumpers, USB, etc. Okay, so but I want to get more, and I want to maybe get different sizes, and I want to have them up on my wall here so I can have a lot of components. Let's see what DigiKey has for component storage. So I think component storage. Let's see. Okay, so let's go under. Sorry, so I typed in component storage and searched, and now I'm going to boxes. Let me see what's available. This is where the images are great. So these aren't bad. If you have like drawers and you want to stack stuff, you can definitely hold a lot more if it's like really tiny. You can like usually take out the little dividers if necessary. I do like that this one has good latches. That's key, because there's like nothing sadder than like, you know, you have everything organized and then like it drops or it gets pushed over and like it flies open and everything falls out. What I really like is stuff like this. This is actually kind of neat because this one has little tiny storage, and then like medium storage, and then medium large, and then like the big drawer, which I think is kind of cool. There's also this standard drawer. One thing that is interesting is there's not, you can kind of do how many components in drawers. So let's make it so we have only ones. Well, let's only look for active stuff. And let's look for only stuff that's like stocking components. Okay, so we can search by number of components. So let's only look for stuff that has like at least 10, because maybe 8, yeah, compartments. Okay, so let's see. That'll pare it down. Because I don't want like the one box, like a single box. Stuff like this is okay. Like this is like a little kit that DigiKey has. We stock these. These are also from SparkFun. These open up trays. Again, they've got good latches, which is really key. I like this one. I remember we had these at the Media Lab, and I was like, these are super cool. So $30, and then you have the dividers, but the middle is like nice and strong. So these are like good dividers. This one, I was like, I'm not going to use this because I actually want to be able to see all the labels, but this is killer. I love this because you could have one just be like USB connectors, pull it out. This one, you know, each one of them has their own little railing. So this is very cool. Flambeau makes like really good enclosures and stuff. It's a little bit more pricey. And then a common question I get, this is another one of those, like, great. They have really great enclosures. I like the clear top. Definitely, like, you should be able to see the components before you open them. Clear top. I get a lot of people asking, well, do you need ESD safe storage for components? And I think if it was like, if you're storing like 1980s series 4000 chips, yes. But honestly, a lot of modern electronics is like pretty ESD protected. Like, we've kind of gotten better at just like, you know, unless you're like super staticky. And if you're worried about it, you can always put ESD foam in the bottom and then plug the components into it if you're concerned. I know it's a little bit out of pocket to say that, but I'm not super serious about ESD. This is also nice. I like that like little jewel toned top, and this is the enclosure the case that we have. But so far, of all of these, so these are like the kind of the two that are the top. I think, let's see, this is a little narrower, long, oh, this is taller in the same width. So this one is, okay, so this has like 5 little teeny ones by 20, and then this one has the same top. I'm actually gonna go with this one. I like this one. I'll tell you why. I can keep my little like cutie pie boards up in here, feather boards in here, Metros and like Grand Central, like Raspberry Pi computers in here. So like a range of components available. And like $60 is like pretty good. That's a good deal. You get a lot. And I like that there's like a nice flat top and flat side. You can stack these up and down. So this is my pick for component storage. Nice range of parts that you can put indoors.
And that is the great search.
Where in the world is that part I need? The great search with DigiKey.
Good work. On time, on budget. All right, we're going to do some holiday decorating and a bunch of electronics. So get ready. So all throughout this week, because we don't have shows on Wednesday, we're posting up a bonanza, a cornucopia of content. So if you like electronics, tune into all the places we post, which is everywhere it's possible where they still let us. And what? Look, we have positive good things. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes those get chased away. But the only way to bring in happiness and joy is to post the light. And there's a celebration of light next week, so we're gonna do it.
Okay.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna
We're gonna get these WLEDs working.
we're gonna bring everyone together with the power of Blink.
Okay, cool.
With the power
All right,
of flow.
have a great holiday, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Pre-New Year's celebration.
That's right.